a test run of armor as is, but with some of the things that, like, the scenario kind of did wrong, but done right.
Yeah, I mean, like, we could put them in, but like some of these things are just going to be mathematically like the case. We knew that going in, but yeah, I mean, it's worth readjusting the scenario or building a new scenario. I think we need. I don't think that the current setup with AP is good, because I think that I made, like, I don't think it's good to have to figure out what is the AP of every weapon and what is the armor points of every target. I think it's easier to just be like, armor penetration does something like halves it, right? Maybe that's not the particular solution, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a good point, and definitely something to be considered. I think that would definitely make things simpler.
I'm making our go live tweets. Do you think we should tweet about this from the ChangedStars account? I don't want it to be another going live account though, so maybe not.
Yeah. We can make it a going live account when we're closer to the Kickstarter.
Yeah, but we want people to pay attention to every tweet from it, in so much as we can guarantee that. Sci-fi world building.
Yes. Alright, now I'm a little bit more on point. I probably look horrible on like any sort of actual resolution, but like considering my camera's grainy as fuck, this'll do.
Bam.
Indeed. By the way, sorry for like randomly dipping last night. My computer was just not having it.
All good, Queen.
Tomorrow I'm gonna drive out to fucking King of Prussia and see if we can get this motherfucker working, and if not, get that warranty, motherfucker.
As a reminder, we are live, so.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not worried about doxing myself. Everybody knows where I live, and if they don't, it's very easily found online.
Yeah, but you know,
I live in Frenchtown.
Oh my God, no! Shut the fuck up.
Zip
we need to get better. We need to get better about this, not worse. Like, we don't. Right now, we're small and doesn't matter. We can joke about this, but like later, that won't be the case.
Fair. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop being a twat.
I'm literally doing this for your sake in so many ways, but yeah.
That's fair.
There still is no ChangedStars Facebook pages there.
No, there's not.
So I can't add it.
We need to do that before Saturday.
You could also just, I mean, do you want to do it right now?
Sure. What's a fixed page?
Is
there a website?
A Facebook page?
Oh! Oh! Yeah, no, I can do that right now. Logging in on my new professional Facebook account. Da, 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 da. I don't remember what my email account on this is. Well, that's not right. Facebook be like, wow, you've been offline for 2 weeks. What's up, dude? That's what happens when I forget that I've made another Facebook account. Oh god, I've been tagged by so many people. 47 new messages. God, I hate humanity. Oh, Greg sent me a message. I love Greg. Ah, Greg made the mistake of sending something to this account on Messenger as opposed to my other accounts on Messenger. Anyway, let's make that ChangedStars page.
Yeah, so ChangedStars playtest. Let me see if anybody's. Right now I'm reading no viewers.
I would view, but it would literally shut my computer down.
That's all good, Queen. Let's bring up the CSS to do. Do we want to drill down on armor, or do we want to go down the list of shit to get taken care of?
Let's work on other things, and if other people join us tonight, we can work on armor then, or like, you know, if we haven't touched on armor by a certain time tonight, like, you know, by like 10 o'clock, we'll think about making the next half about thinking about armor. Let's work on whatever's next. What is next? Unless you have a really good idea for this.
Nah, I'm honestly still batting around ideas, so we might as well plow through other things. All right, so at the top of the docket, I don't know that this should be what we do, but first pass on spaceship stroke vehicle rules.
Ooh.
I had gotten into ICUs and kind of outlined how they'd be either what are we calling them now?
CCUs.
Okay, CCUs. Vehicles, ground
because
cars.
nobody wants to be confused with because nobody wants their mechs to be confused with a hospital, apparently. Ugh, people are so lame.
Okay, so what? So they are just construction and combat units now, or?
Yeah, construction combat units, or combat/construction units, I guess. I don't know, the slash still makes sense to me, but I guess if construction combat unit doesn't make sense, then I could come up with another acronym.
I think it's fine. Enclosed CCUs. I'm just
News, view preferences, settings, activity log, my groups. So I want to make a Facebook page, not a group, right?
honestly, I think that we should probably make both. Unless you want to do it entirely through the Diesel Shot Facebook page. There are arguments to be made either way. I think you can link a group after you've made a page, though. So.
So I'm gonna make a group.
There's no independent instance of ICU as far as I can tell.
For discussing and nerding over the ever-growing universe. Parentheses, aka a very astronomically small region in our galaxy, end parentheses, have changed stars. Too many A's. Oh, bugger. And I'll make it a public group. And who am I gonna invite? Let's go with Lee. Let's go with Any along. Let's go with Pat. Let's go with Greg. And Madeline. Am I friends with Madeline? Oh, I guess Adrian. And I guess I'm not friends with her on Facebook. Okay. Let's try Cole. Nope. Max. Nope. Apparently there's a guy named Max Cole who is neither of the people that I'm trying to reach. James? No, but let me try Adam. No, but Adam Andrew. Oh, he's working in Uber now. Good for him. Dion! Hell yeah! My old fucking, my first college. Oh, I guess not. Oh, I spelled it wrong. But Ryan Kelly, why not? And then Keon Charles. Wait, I should not be saying people's names. I'm gonna invite Joe Biden. And let's try. Is Hillary Clinton my friend on Facebook? No, she's not. How about Donald Trump? No, not friends with Donald on Facebook. Let me think. I really don't know. Who else to add? Let me just go with that.
Actionless justifications, justified, parent was so cruel. I think that got handled, but I don't think. Hold on. Idle disk.
Okay, now let me join from. Now this is where it becomes fun to have 3 Facebook accounts.
Oh, God. So, first pass spaceship vehicle rules. We're at space. Alright, so space stats GRS general notes. Synergy. We don't block PC action order. Fire in a basic position. You test alacrity of ignition systems. Avoid safe. So the issue with a lot of this stuff is that they fairly inherently involve armor. So I'm going to wind up statting a lot of things armor values, which we will have to go back and change.
You're so
anyway.
right.
So it does, and also armor is going to be a bit fundamental to how we handle combat, and I don't think a totally separate set of rules for vehicles makes sense, because most people aren't going to learn or care about them. They're just going to find that confusing. Because we don't want to sell them 2 games, one of which they rarely never use, and then, yeah. So, I think this does... I think to go forward on all this vehicle stuff before us, I do think we actually have to circle back to armor. And we could just say, we are going to continue testing this version of armor, and here's suggestions on how to make it better. But do you agree that the armor is not where it needs to be? Or do you think that it could still work?
I mean, I don't think it got a fair test. I don't really think we've learned enough yet to say that it is wrong.
We don't want to run off of single play tests and overly change things. So, in that case, for the moment, we will advance with that. CCUs.
Yeah.
Here's a question. How many CCUs do we want? Do we just want those, like... Right now, I have something to be the default power loader, something to be the old Fenrir Core power loader, which is slightly better armored, faster, and gives more of a bonus to melee. A spider-legged hull crawler for EVA activities, and a Human Empire Navy Stellar Assault chassis, built for breaching and entering ahead of infantry in and out of atmosphere, which I haven't really described, but it's one of the 2 enclosed ones.
Actual mech.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Its hull easily outstrips the others. So that leaves the floor at 4 meters. So you're moving, I think, as slow as of here, or is that as fast as of here? I think slightly slow. I think 1 meter slower than a veer. Boy, so you have a slow mover that does the basic shit. Let me pull up gear and items. Because I think I'm gonna start putting shit there. Let's talk about. Okay. So yes, you have a Hen Stellar Assault chassis, a Void Safe Hull Crawler. So we have four kinds of CCUs. Now, CCUs haven't played a predominant role in our previous games of ChangedStars, but a lot of that has to do with the system we were using to play ChangedStars and the fact that when someone did get a mech, it often just wasn't that rewarding. So, do we want to double down on mech play as a potential? And if so, how do we want to govern that?
I think that mech play should be more common than it already is.
Alright, I think we'll achieve that with these mechs. There's a question of, do we ever want to de-incentivize being in a mech, or should it always be superior to be inside of a mech? Because right now, unless you need to do something physically outside of your mech, I think you would always, or you have a movement speed in excess of, if you're a Thren, the Void Safe Hull Crawler literally moves as fast as a Thren. So you're not going to outspeed anyone, but, I mean, you're not going to outspeed a Thren, but, like, you know, I don't think there's a reason to be outside of a mech. I think that's fine. I think it's fine for a mech to be an objectively better place for you to be, and narratively, you can have a reason that you can't go through there, because we can just clarify, like, so these are going to be 2x2s. Every mech is going to be a 2x2. And stop me if you think that that's wrong, but I think every mech is a 2x2. Anything small enough to not increase your size can be handled under the category of armor. And most, like, airlocks and other 1 meter wide doorways are neither wide nor tall enough to accommodate them. And mech. We will make clear that the deploy, like the delimiter for mechs is map design. And if you exist in a world of blank spaces, then a mech is always better in a vacuum. The same is said of a tank or anything else like that.
Totally. I want the ChangedStars system to kind of just be like, here is a mech. You are not in it. If you get into the mech and you are having a problem that can be solved with violence, it is always the better solution. If you're facing a problem that can be solved by needing a bonus to construction work abilities, then this is always your best option. If you're just chilling in the room with the mech and like trying to converse with someone, why would you even consider getting to the mech? But like any sort of physically solvable problem should be better in one of these fuckers. Basically.
Sure.
I mean, that's obviously what we've kind of already said, but, you know, like, I'm not talking a +2 like it is in Alien RPG. I'm talking, like, this is the solution to your problem, probably. Which is why, like, you know, people should feel like, oh, yeah, there's a mech. That's great, as opposed to the way it's kind of been playing, which is just like, oh, there's a mech. Setting details, you know, like room setting. Huh, cute.
Yeah,
There's a mech in the room.
So you don't you don't want it to be like a tool, but for both violence and mechanics. You want it to feel like a spectrum shift. Because I have an idea. I have an idea for that. Hear me out here. What if, and this is going to make mechs like melee gods, but what if every stunt
the idea is like, if you're a normal human and you get into a mech, now an adult news guy is on your level.
I think what we do...
Maybe not that.
I think that what we do is we say damage stunts confer the damage stat of a melee weapon while you are in a mech.
Damage stunt. Ooh, like shoving is just like, get bugged.
No, not like shoving.
Damage stunts. Okay. Oh wait! Oh my! Oh,
so if you get one stunt, you've just doubled the melee damage you're doing. So just to clarify, if I attack someone, okay, let me just pull up the melee weapon section.
I'm using my Veer Imperial.
Your Veer Officer Saber. I was thinking the exact same weapon. If you roll 2 successes with your Voss, your Veer Officer Saber, you get two successes. So the damage on the Veer Officer Saber is 3.
3. Sorry. Yeah.
It upgraded after we upgrade the damages across the board. Yeah. So now out of mech you deal 4. In mech you deal 6. It still has AP2 and it still has cutting. Which, to be fair, cutting weapons you'll often want to stunt to bleed your enemy. But it doesn't. But you're also getting 3 extra dice, 2 to 3, 1 to. If you're in the basic bitch one, you're getting 1 extra dice. If you're in the Fenrir Core Electrolifter, you're getting 3 extra dice. If you're in the Void Safe Hull Crawler, you're not getting any more because it doesn't give a bonus to melee because it has little like doo arms. But because you're in a mech, you still can stunt for the damage. So it's still up in your all of these ups your. Yeah, alright. Yeah, so...
I think the issue would become, though, that you have to have a weapon that fits the mech. Otherwise, you'd just be doing kind of the base damage of the mech. Like, are you seriously putting your officer's sword in the hands, the very large hands, of a mech?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we are. I think we're just saying that, like, the force it can put behind it is so much greater. But maybe... most stunts are not stackable. Maybe we say this is an unstackable stunt unless it is explicitly a built for mecha scale melee weapon.
Yeah. I can think of no way this could possibly go wrong.
Melee attacks. In
We're gonna have to playtest this because I feel like this is a paradigm shift. But yes,
we need. I was just thinking of. I'm thinking we make one. Remember the ship that we didn't really get to explore that much of that had like the father AI in it that was like a backup that went rogue, but how there were multiple decks with different like cargo bays. I think we play.
That would be a great map.
We play on that ship again, and we control movement between decks and places by like this is where a CCU will or won't fit, and then we have like the players come in with like void safe hull crawlers or some shit.
Yeah, wait. Come to think of it, that whole plot was kind of a pretty good one for playtesting.
It involves. I mean, it's not bad. It's moving around a ship map. It's fighting a synthetic enemy, and it's a very ChangedStars scenario. So
yeah, that plot could be a pretty good playtester. I invented it so that it would introduce like our most beloved of guest players that night, Milady Saito, to the ChangedStars setting, and yeah, no, I think that would be a good playtester. And we've got the map, and you know, things did not go exactly the way I had planned, which means to me that given the map and given the enemies, there's a lot of ways it could play out. So yeah, that could be something. I also really loved your heist the other night. That was fantastic. So yeah, both of these could be really good playtests. Yeah, no, I really like what you're putting out with the AP, with the APC. ICUs, or CCUs now. Good shit. Sorry. Oh, somebody's joining us. Hello there, somebody. It is James. Oh, James is no longer with us. Gives me time to put on my sunglasses and get all aesthetic as shit. Wow. Yeah, so that's a good way to take the
CCUs. Add a potential. Add a new stunt. Make available a new stunt. Overdrive damage, which deals the weapon's damage value again. This stunt may not be taken multiple times in a single test unless the weapon is explicitly built and scaled to the mecha frame.
Makes sense. Because I mean, basically, you're just using Veer Officer Sabler as a toothpick in that example.
Yeah, such weapons are rare.
Hey James, we're talking about mechas. They're gonna be a thing in ChangedStars, and they're gonna be better than they were in Alien RPG. No longer will they be set dressings. They will be genuine improvements to your playing ability.
I will believe it when I see it.
What I'm hoping is that in a scenario where you are in a room with an IPC or a CCP.
CCU.
I don't even remember what the CCU.
You're about to be talking about either a either a Polish video game developer or the Communist Chinese Party.
When you are in a room with a member of the Chinese Communist Party, that is when you really just gotta, like, you know, feel grateful that they would spend their time with you. I'm just kidding. When you're in a room with a CCU and a Newsquay adult, the obvious solution should be get in there and fight the Newsquay adult, assuming like they're aggressive towards you. Like, it shouldn't be an ambiguous like, am I actually better in this? Like, does this benefit me at all? It should just be like a yes, get in that fucking thing. That's the only way to actually beat an adult Newsquay in combat.
Have you told James what the
Sorry about the
mechanical
weird
changes?
Opinion and then immediately.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Have
I told James anything about the stats? No.
What?
No.
So the main change that we're gonna make.
I'm gonna go get some food while you inform
in addition
James.
to the potential to have this act as like an extra health pool for you, is it will give you, when you do melee in it, it will give you an extra stunt, which will allow you to just do the weapon's damage value again. It won't let you take that stunt consecutively unless it's literally a built for mecha weapon on the size and scale that would only be usable by a mecha of that type.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that, I suppose. I would need to look through the damages, but could you still do the for normal weapons? Could you still do the damage thing or damage stunt?
Could you still do the regular damage stunt?
Yeah.
Yes, and assuming that it's not a mecha weapon, you have more than your initial success in one stunt, then that's probably what you'll do. Like, if you just want to pile on even more damage, you can put the basic +1 on and on and on. Additionally, if you're just using like a damage one weapon, like if you're just trying to hit someone with a blunt object, that stunt won't even help you. But the moment you have a knife or, God forbid, a plasma torch, then you're all of a sudden you're really fucking people up. Weapons fitted for an FC Electrolift are compatible with industrial service platforms. So, we're going through the vehicles. Let me actually look at the CCUs and see if I have what I need to run one. Let's scroll through. Vehicle rules. So hence our assault chassis. Let's say there's no armor piercing on Hem 5.5. Let's shoot it as now. Assume I hit 6. It's a hit to stomp for 6 damage. And then 10d6 for a total of 3 damage. So, what, 6, 7, 8 damage. 8 damage, no AP. The armor / roll 9d6. The armor would be a... So that would be 8 damage, losing 1 of that 8, so 7. So right now the Hen's to assault chassis would be just under half health from a single Hem-Faf hit. Sounds about right. Might need AP though. I'll be right back. I'm back.
You know,
Here we are.
I do have one comment about the proposal for making mechs more powerful,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even really a complaint. It's just I went through and I did the math, and as long as you recognize that a welder, an engineer with the welder thing, can find a mech and instant kill any non-monstrous NPC, because that does you're gonna get average of of at least 2, if not 3 successes, and that's 8 damage, 8 to 9 damage with an AP of 6.
So even if the target had Bappa, that's giving them a single armor dice roll.
Yeah. I mean, and if that is not, it may be that that's intentional. That is how deadly you want a person getting into a mech to be. But oh wait, actually, I didn't even count, like, because the mechs also add to melee, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
How many do they?
It depends on the mech, but the normal one adds a single dice.
Okay, so yeah, no, it's 2 successes. So 8 to 9 damage, which can with 6 arm, or which breaks through all of their arm, or all of most people's armors, or most NPCs' armors.
Yeah, so I mean that's I mean, like, yeah, I wonder, do you think that the plasma torch is too powerful?
No. I mean, or well, I don't know.
Because I mean,
it's not a because it's fueled. It's not a particularly useful long-term weapon.
Right.
Which is why I would say no. But again, I was just making a comment because of curiosity.
Here's a thought. So, like, I don't think it makes a lot of sense that you would have, like, Schrodinger's fuel supply. But we're not doing ammo tracking in this game. That's why there's an ammo stat. So it would be weird to do fuel tracking.
Correct.
Alright, so... Like, military labras being parentheses doesn't even make sense anymore. We're just gonna say military labras. Honestly, military labras probably doesn't even make sense. It's probably just labras. My only concern with just saying labras is I don't think most people, like, know what that word means. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right.
And it'll make them Google it. Or, you know, in the item description, so it lists the item, what the item is. Or it describes the item. I mean, no one's gonna know what a cloth gown is.
That's another item that I within the list that I'm thinking about. Like, that's not very immediately communicative about what it does, is it? This is a double hit.
I mean, I assume that's just from its damage and properties. I'm assuming it's basically a it's boxing tape. Roughly.
It's a series. It's like brass knuckles, but they're a series of interlocking cogs, so your fingers are articulable within them.
There's a series of interlocking cogs.
I mean, not cogs, but you know,
like rings, right?
So,
yeah. There's a series of interlocking rings.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, so the CCUs.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, so basically you can slaughter if you get in a fucking mech, you can easily with 2 successes you can easily slaughter a human foe. To be fair, like I think that's kind of what we were missing in our early experiences. Like the mechs didn't feel that good, and this will make the mechs feel that good. Someone in a mech will be incredibly dangerous. If you get in a mech, you will be incredibly dangerous. I think the way
it wasn't a complaint. It was just a comment.
Yeah. That's good to know, because I didn't realize quite how powerful that was going to make the plasma torch. But that's good to know.
Plasma torch does 8 damage basically by default in a basic ass mech. Eight damage kills most, or well, not most things, but kills a lot of things.
That is the idea. They're like construction workers deal with like murderous vehicles. Like, am I wrong here?
No, but it does.
How many people could you kill with a crane? If I was trying, I could kill a lot.
There are 2 4-damage melee weapons. There's nothing higher. There is the plasma torch, and there is the heliocore energy stave. One of those is a 2k uncommon that's fueled. The other is a 40k black market that is powered. The difference being plasma torches have a 1 meter reach with 0 mod, and the heliocore energy stave has a 2 mod with 2 meters range, and it's presumably easier to recharge a powered item than it is to refuel a fueled item.
Mm-hmm.
I should list the fuel and power values in the table so that people know. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so fueled. So the plasma torch already had. They're already in this document. I'll just move them over. Fueled 6. And we're fine. So Pat, you're fine with that melee dynamic, right? Because this isn't really a game revolving around melee weapons, but melee combat definitely happens in it. Like the dynamic will be like, yes, if you are a skilled melee combatant, you will have
you probably got the drop on everybody.
You have no reason not to pick up the plasma torch.
Yeah. Hence why that was my modus operandi in that one Rust game.
Other than bleeding people.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Which we saw play out.
Yeah, I mean, the plasma torch will fucking cauterize the wounds. Like, you're not bleeding someone with the plasma torch.
But you are permanently maiming them anytime you use it on a person. So think about that.
Fuels.
While you're brutally mauling and eviscerating other people with your plasma torch. Think about how fun that is.
Mm.
Think about how much they deserve it.
Oh, Nelly. While we're down in weapons, I think it's time to go look at weapon properties. In particular, full auto? Wait, why did subdue attacks to this weapon only damage stamina? Alright. I'm trying to figure out, because Adelaide suggested many changes. Attacks to this weapon's damage stamina. Any damage past that forces a -X metal test. Well, metal isn't a stat anymore, so I should change that regardless. Test where X is the attack's hits damage. On a failure, the target is subdued. Yeah, James?
Nothing. That was not a noise directed to you guys.
I'm making a lot of those right now. There.
Let me find full auto. And here copies. Full auto, full auto, full auto, full auto. Well, I'll just alright, get rid of it. Okay. Double armor doesn't exist anymore. Full auto. Allows the use of fully automatic fire from this weapon. So, I think that full auto right now, I don't think suppressing people is it's not, because the word suppress appears nowhere in the toolbook. Suppressing people is not a feature of ranged attacks by default.
As Lizzo would say, suppressing people is a sign that those people hold power.
So when you say no, like, do you want it to be a thing that just shooting a gun suppresses someone?
No, I'm talking about making it a stunt for full auto, but in addition to, you can stunt your damage onto other people and do the full damage of the weapon. Although I'm thinking about letting you spread damage from a ranged weapon anyway. I'm not sure about it though. But for now, let's just say full auto allows this fully weapon fire. May spread damage stunts across multiple targets. The first success on any target deals the full damage value of the weapon. I basically want fully automatic fire to potentially like break an enemy. Now let me check here. Resolve. Yeah, I mean, I think this has to be if a resolve test was going to be called for anywhere, this feels like where it would be called for.
I agree.
Yeah, so I mean, someone shooting a gun at you is scary. Should it be a stunt, or is someone shooting at you in fully automatic enough to elicit it? If it's a stunt, then you have to choose.
That's a good question.
If it's a stunt, you're having to choose to spend successes on it rather than pumping into damage. So it needs to be pretty
I think
worthwhile.
that could be a stunt of other guns, but I think in something that's full auto, maybe it could be like an automatic.
Is there a downside to going full auto all the time?
I think it's going to increase your edge by 1 before you shoot.
Okay. Not sure how big of a downside that is necessarily, but okay.
Well, actually, hold on, wait. Earlier, so like the other risk is you basically have to make a test to control the weapon and yourself so you don't run out of ammo. So anytime you're full auto fire and you go from I'm making the choice to potentially run out of ammo to I'm having to pass a test to not run out of ammo.
Okay, that's more of a, because if it's that sort of thing, then if there wasn't a downside to full auto, you would have wanted to make it a stunt. But if that is a feature that every single full auto check or full auto shot makes you check, then making it automatic makes sense.
There is no section on combat in this game, is there?
Not until you make one.
Combat initiative. No, there is. It's just the only thing under it is initiative. Suppression. When a unit is considered suppressed. I'm going to say like explosions and other shit will cause this as well. When we get to it. When a unit is considered suppressed. Actually, where the fuck are explosions covered? Explosions and fires. Cover. This stuff. Why is this stuff under armor? Okay, hold on. Actually, cover under armor kind of makes sense because it's just adding armor. At the very least, though, explosions and fires is going to the section of the rulebook where we cover combat. Although explosions should be near where the explosion stuff is. Whatever, we might move it. CSS squared format. Where do we put explosions and fires? Any unit in this radius must roll empathy resolve or gain 1 edge. Test or gain edge. Creature in this radius. Any creature in this radius must succeed on an empathy resolve test or gain 1 edge. When it is considered suppressed. Actually, I'm just going to put this all is suppressed. A creature on fire is suppressed. Am I using the wrong word here with suppression if it's going to be fire and explosions? Should I make it imperiled or something?
I must confess, I'm not sure.
When a unit is considered suppressed, suppression. When a community is suppressed, they must make a test empathy resolve. Failure, they take 1. Actually, no. On a failure, on a success, on a single success. Test result. A single success. You lose. Better way to word this. Better way to reference this concept. Success. You gain 1 edge.
So no matter what, being suppressed is going to have an effect on you.
Not if you get 2 successes, because then you can stunt to remove the edge. To remove the edge impact. But on a failure, you're going to take a shock. On a failure, take a shock. Take a D4 shock. Take a D4 shock. failure to take a D4 shock. Suppress, suppress, suppress. Suppression. Suppress. I'll use fully automatic fire from this weapon. It may spread damage sensed across multiple targets. The first success on any target deals the full damage value of the weapon. This made more sense when the skill was still called metal. Which, speaking of which, I need to go and remove all references to the skill called metal.
Okay.
But the skill you roll to not run out of ammo is actually going to be resilience endurance.
Okay.
Which sounds weird when it's endurance. But that is presently how it works.
Okay.
I mean, you know, having ammo is part of enduring. Just throwing that out there.
Interesting.
You can endure a lot. You can endure a lot without ammo, but like, you know, if you have ammo and you have tolerance for dealing with shit, if you have a high endurance and you also have ammo, you're gonna make that shit last. Just throwing that out there. I don't mind it. I don't think metal really fits as a strength or like, you know,
it also
resilience-based.
it didn't fit the
anyway.
it didn't fit the schema, and it edged too close into resolve. Now let me go check.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let me go check the.
Ooh, but resolve might be a better one for the ammunition stat. Huh.
So we are increasingly building out a situation where the ideal soldier build will have better resolve. So we'll have higher empathy. Unless we give the soldiers a talent which overrules that. Let me go check the talents, because this feels like something we can mess
Giving them a
with.
talent that overrules that might actually not be a terrible idea.
Let me go look at the sharpshooter.
Especially because, you know what? I feel like that keeps with the ChangedStars ideal, which is to say, like, just because your character is like full of muscles does not mean they're inherently better than someone else, you know? Does not mean they're just gonna trounce on everybody else in every single respect. You know, unless they've taken into account, you know, like, yes, I have muscles, but also I have these feelings. Feelings of, like, you know, concern when I am run out of ammunition. So I have taken this into account. And I am relying on my muscles not to expel all of my ammunition when I am feeling the fright. As it were.
Okay.
Now, Pat, if I was talking about a talent that you could buy, and it was called crack, and it was in the soldier tree, what would you assume that meant?
You picked a bad time to ask me a question.
Excellent.
Cocaine. You've given the soldier a talent that means they have infinite cocaine.
Indeed.
I'd assume it meant crack shot, like you're really accurate.
So it's actually in reference like crack troops, like very elite troops. But Max said that he just didn't think people would assume that out the gate. So he thought about we could rename it hardened or veteran. I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard the term crack troops literally before, just now.
All right, well, then, yeah, that's probably too niche of a word to be using for the trait, then. I guess...
Do people actually call troops crack? Like, to
Yes.
indicate that they're good?
Yes. I can look up the etymology of it, but...
Since when?
It's a military... dates back to the 18th century. It was commonly used during the Napoleonic
shit.
Wars and the American Civil War, but it hasn't been widely used since World War One. It's similar to a crack shot, which is a person
Right.
who is a good marksman.
No,
Apparently,
crack shot I've heard of. Crack shot, everybody's heard of crack shot.
it initially seemed to mean regiments with officers from wealthy and fashionable young aristocrats. Crack in the sense of boastful or swaggering. It was little later that it was taken to mean an excellent fighting unit.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that does not work for like hardened veteran.
So we're gonna.
I think hardened or veteran are both excellent.
I think that the talent hardened might give a different impression if one was just looking at the talent list. So I think veteran is the choice.
All right.
Or like several of these are phrases, and I don't know. Do you think that talents should be one word? Do you think that they should be phrases? Do you think a mix is fine?
A mix is fine.
I don't see a problem with the mix.
Because I was gonna name it.
One word is
something
too
like,
inclusive or exclusive.
I was gonna make it something like into hell or like.
Yeah, I would say a maximum of like 5 words on any of these phrases. But yeah, no, one word is too exclusive.
Actually, no. I'm gonna call it against fire.
I mean, you could also say hell and back.
Hell and back. The reason I say against fire, actually against fire doesn't make a lot of sense. No, I think I know what against fire is going to be for. Yeah, hell and back. Hell ampersand back. Alright, that's something I need to worry about right now. Okay, so hell and back. Automatically pass resolve tests against being suppressed by automatic fire. Gain a +3 to other tests tests against being suppressed. The idea here is you are a veteran soldier and you will advance under automatic fire because you have the space Iron Cross, but not an Iron Cross because reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, it was a German symbol before World War II, but yeah.
And then it became a very German symbol
Unfortunately.
during World War II.
Yeah. So right now, positioning has a limit where it says you can't go above
That's why
8.
Germans should never elect Austrians for president.
Oof. When behind cover, treat as 1 step higher, +2 armor. Cannot go above extreme armor's 8 cover this way. Covers 8 armor this way. I think I'm going to remove that limitation because armor dice just aren't that great on their own anyway. Like, if
Yeah,
you
I
get
think
slightly,
we're finding that.
if you get slightly more out of your cover, it's probably not going to save you. Well, to be fair, I don't think some people got armor bonuses. I think during that shootout.
There was the on and off again 1 armor bonus
For the
from being repeatedly pushed through the hole in the wall.
Oh yeah, +2 max stamina. Stamina training is a +2 to your maximum stamina. Rapid reload may reload as a side action. Tough as nails, +2 to max health. Automatically pass resolve tests against being suppressed by automatic fire. Gain a +3 to other tests against being suppressed. Gunslinger tree. The badass tree. Intimidating. I came here because changing how automatic fire works is a... Alright, so Pat, you think that what we do is we make the default full auto an empathy resolve test to not run out of ammo. Because you are resolute in fire control. But we let the machine gunner talent under the gunslinger tree transfer that to an endurance roll, giving it a bonus or something? You're muted in the meets, the gang out if you're talking.
That is an interesting concept. I didn't have very much to add, unfortunately. But
Well, but you said you wanted it to be resolved, right? Full auto should be resolved.
I do, yeah, no, I do think
Okay.
that full auto being a resolve state is preferable.
Yeah. Okay. So it also increases the odds in play that somebody runs out of ammo because your character would have to be spread pretty wide to be good at all those things. Right?
Yeah, no, and also like it really gives a. Honestly, like I can totally see people being like, "Oh yeah, hey, look at this ChangedStars system. Empathy's the dump stat." I can absolutely see people thinking that, but we don't want that.
And they use resilience endurance. Running out of ammo after full auto fire. Consider weapons +2 ammo of auto firing. Bless you, child.
I'm sorry about that. That activated like all of my lower vocal cords. Or like the lowest vibration of my vocal cords. Whatever the deal may be. I don't actually know very much about vocal cords. Damn.
Oh, I think she actually. I think what she did was she went through and she alphabetized this whole thing.
Wait, what?
Adelaide went back and alphabetized the weapon properties. That's why they all have. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it.
Amazing.
So I was like, what did you change about all this shit? And the answer was nothing.
So
And
I
we're not
don't
having the
think
double
that,
lock property. Yeah, yes,
so
James?
I don't have the document part open. But what exactly does stealth do?
The stealth
Because as
property?
of right now, only 2 weapons have it.
The
The
garrote,
Rassian necktie and the Mirai crossbow.
attacking with it does not break stealth inherently. Every other weapon, if you've attacked someone with it, unless otherwise stated, you are now visible and known to the enemy.
I feel like then
Okay.
there should be like a stealth gun.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
a
there
silenced
is
weapon
the
makes
Mirai
sense.
crossbow.
Yeah, I mean, one can imagine like a suppressor which one fits to a firearm conveying that property, or an integrally silenced weapon. There's also the question of if that goes in the default game or like a content drop. But I do kind of like the idea of Mirai crossbows being like an assassin weapon. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, like, that's how they
the
would
reason
be
why I
in
asked
Mirai culture.
is, why doesn't the Rastian shoehorn have it? Which is in the book rule, or multiple times stated this is the weapon for assassinating people.
because
you stab them and let them bleed out.
Because you're supposed to. It's not like it's the Assassin's Creed blade.
Oh, okay.
It is intended to. It is a stiletto. It is just a stiletto. It is.
Okay.
It is a punching dagger that you. It's a stabbing dagger that you use like on the streets of Space Venice because somebody is wearing like, you know, ballistic weave or whatever, and so they have some armor on their clothing. You need to punch through it because you want to kill them dead.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a garrote, like the victim of your attack with a garrote, is inherently silenced if you've got your hit off correctly.
Yeah.
I guess I should probably. I wonder if stealth is even a good property, or if I should make it a. I digress. Because like if you miss with a garrote, they can alert people. If you miss with a crossbow, maybe we could just say like if you miss with your attack with a stealth weapon, it still alerts people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Only if this goes through properly is it actually stealthy.
Or it has a chance of alerting people.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know how stealth works. And that's not me saying I don't know how stealth works in your game. That's me saying I just don't know how it works in general.
But you do stealth stuff in games all the time.
You're a snacky boy. And or girl sometimes.
They don't know that. None of my characters I've done on Diesel Shot have been stealth people.
Amazing. Very stealthy. Overheat.
Aww. There's a cute picture of a Yeti girl on Reddit. She's so cute. She's watching hockey. That's cute. I'm gonna upload.
Very Canadian.
Why are all the pictures on Reddit of naked people? I don't understand. I know it's entirely based on my own feed preferences and what I've liked and haven't liked, but very rude. Very rude of Reddit to assume that I just want naked people constantly on my feed. By the way, hi, the one viewer in this audience who isn't Lee and myself. How are you doing
that's
tonight?
me.
Feel free to comment in the...
I'm
never
doing
mind.
great, thanks.
Never mind.
No, no.
Watch us drop down to 2 again. Oh yeah, we had a couple people drop by. We could potentially have had like 8 people, but they probably just like dropped in and they saw like, aha, Diesel Shot is doing a spreadsheet night. Let's get while the getting's good.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the community's support of transitioning to less game streams and more dev streams. It has not actually been that good for us.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, but still, though, what we were doing during quote-unquote Alien Summer was honestly very unmanageable. So, like, we were really both pushing ourselves
5 games a week.
Absolute brink. 5 fucking games a week, most of which was Alien RPG, because hell yeah. It got us somewhere. But you know, it also drove both Lee and myself like super off the mental quest. So it's good. We need dev nights. That said, if we get enough people by like 10:30, we should potentially rerun that the module, but with like
the issue. Honestly, I think that what we need to do very soon.
Changed armor rules.
Honestly, like once I get through this, we're gonna rebuild character generation because like it's in a very bad place right now. Because I was just throwing out concepts as I determined them. It is not at all even attempted to be laid out in a smart way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. You know what? I agree because I think we should give the character generation as it is a fair chance. I hate it the way it is right now, but I haven't given it a fair chance because the layout's bad. So, if we give it a good layout, and then we like, you know, make a character or two, and then run with it, maybe we'll find that, hey, it's not as bad of a system as we used to think. Or maybe we'll think, it's still a little convoluted, even though, Lee, great work, modifying the layout. Let's make another one with blackjack and hookers. Yeah. But there's I don't think this current character generation methodology has been fully exploited. It really does come down to like doing more dev testing. Unfortunately, we'll never know really what makes sense and what doesn't without like extensive prep work or like dev work, I guess. Whatever. Working mit their communities. I'm babbling.
Mm-hmm. Brittle still works.
Missing something.
I'll just go over it. The suit slitter, in space. So like, generally speaking, getting hit with an attack in a spacesuit should not destroy the spacesuit. But if a suit slitter will do that. Right now, the description says, a wildly illegal weapon brandishing terrible barbs and curves somewhere between torture device and vibrator. Designed to destroy spacesuits and impede their repair.
Yeah, no, I think the intent of that is, you know, normally if you're attacking with like a Veer saber or something, you may penetrate the armor, but that's really only if you're dealing like something to their health. Like if you're just dealing to the stamina, then that's not really, you're not really damaging their armor.
Do you want me to render it that way and say if you take health damage in a spacesuit, the vacuum property is compromised, regardless of whether or not it was a suit slitter attacking you?
This really does all come back to like how we're dealing with armor and health and weapon attacks. Mm-hmm. So intrinsic to all of that.
Yeah, these are incredibly foundational aspects of your game.
Yeah, I think we need to hold off on that kind of description until we get a better feel for how armor and health are gonna work.
All right, but we just
you might want to make a note on it though.
CSS, how will spacesuits interact with damage. Yeah, so just going back up here through the weapon properties. Not the weapon property, through the, yes, the weapon properties. Bulky, I remember the action list. Action list, several things there needed to become weapon properties, so I just want to clean that up. And then we go to character generation, I think.
Okay.
Sprint, charge, toggle, halves movement speed. I don't think that is. So I'm assuming that we want dropping prone to be a thing that you can do.
Yes.
Should it, like, increase the quality of cover near you or something?
Yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah. What if,
Plus
like, when you
2.
drop prone, your own armor and all the armor around you is doubled? Like, basically just dropping prone gives you double armor.
Wait. You want it to be doubled?
I mean, like, you know, if you're around a corner and on the fucking floor, your armor is doubled, right? Like, if you're on the floor and you're behind a table, your armor is fucking doubled. Or, like, you know, whatever. Is doubled not enough? Or are you saying that?
I was gonna give it a +2.
I mean, sure.
I don't know about.
I think
+2.
being around a corner already, like, is factored in to the like the quality of cover you're getting.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, if you're prone in the middle of nowhere, like, is your armor really doubled, or are you just lying on the floor?
Right, but you're not saying double the. You're saying double the armor gained from cover, not double your armor.
Presumably, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not very coherent right now. I don't know. Work just took a lot of me out of me today.
No, I think it has more to do with the fact that the double armor from cover is kind of. I know it has more to do with the fact that What the fuck was I saying? I don't know. No, the fact that armor being a stat and armor being a concept is an unfortunate overlap. So it creates ambiguity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cover
Yeah.
against ranged attacks. Has movement speed on the first turn of cover. So we're gonna have movement speed. Confers a +3 bonus to melee attacks against you. I'm gonna say that you get a pretty big bonus for melee attacking somebody who's lying on the ground because they're literally on the ground, and now you're basically just bullying them.
Amazing. Yeah. No, I agree. Bully the fuckers.
You heard it here first. Pat encourages bullying.
Oh, and I was fucking it up. I was fucking it up.
Facebook,
I was
like,
fucking it up the
4
other
years ago.
night. You're supposed to contest resilience melee.
Interesting. I don't quite follow.
So anytime you attack someone, it's a contested roll.
Push. When you're trying to push somebody out of the way. Because last night I was just having anybody push anybody if they succeeded, but really they should have been contesting it with their enemy.
That
makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh.
Ugh.
Attack of opportunity. Spend all your money.
You good?
Yes. We have like 3 viewers, and there are 3 people here. I have it under all of our authorities that we are the viewers. I don't give a shit.
No, I don't think the streamer counts as a viewer.
No?
So there's one other mysterious person,
Position.
possibly.
Wait, are you not a viewer? Okay. Alright, let's play a real quick game of imposter right now. If you are viewing this and you are not actively in the group chat, make a comment in the chat room.
Way to call out a lurker.
No, I know, right?
When behind cover,
we're gonna drop
one step behind.
2 viewers right now, just because of me.
Only reason I think there's someone else is because I remember when I first hopped in, it only after I joined in, it said there was only 1 viewer, and I'm assuming that Lee had it open the entire time. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's Lee. That's elf ears and LARPing, right?
Yes.
Yes. Then yes. We stan a LARPing individual. We do stan. LARPers who are watching us, just know that for the most part, and entirely dependent on how you do it, we stan you.
I don't, but just because I refuse to use the word stan in any sort of meaningful way.
I don't use it in a meaningful way.
Them.
I just say it on the internet. It doesn't mean anything. Words are inherently meaningless. It's entirely a human-ascribed thing. That series of scribbles on a fucking piece of parchment.
All right, so
I've
just updated the get down talent, which for reference is in a tier alongside rapid reload. Reload is a side action, and stamina train plus 2 max stamina. Get down. When behind cover, treat as 1 step higher, plus 2 armor. Now, that's not very good, but what I've added is that you may drop to prone as a reaction when targeted by a ranged attack by a creature you are aware of.
So soldiers are really, really good at being complete fucking cowards. I love it.
I mean, not standing there and getting hit is more situational awareness.
I know. I'm just being silly. Yeah, no, I love it though. And all of that seems appropriate and within the range of abilities that one might associate a talent as having. So that's great work there. Admirable. Admirable.
1, 2.
Did I just get added on Reddit? I'm very confused. No, I did not. Never mind.
But yes, that doesn't sound too OP, does it? Get up to get down?
No, it doesn't. It sounds appropriate. At least for now. I will obviously hold out my withhold my judgment until we get a better test run.
Okay.
Alright, I think I'm through the item properties and such. We're going over to ChangedStars.
Hey, perfect timing. I can now be focused in on this.
Nice.
Nice.
Finished up what I was doing. At least for the next half hour or so. Then I'm gonna probably head out.
That's fair.
When you say that, all I can imagine is like the meme of SpongeBob with the New Yorker cap and the Timbs on. Like, alright, I'm gonna head out. Alright.
Marvelous.
Alright.
Okay. So what order do you think things should be?
That is.
Well,
the...
if you look at the document that I made to outline the ChangedStars system, you might get an idea of what I think it should look like. And let me actually just like open that. Because... ChangedStars system, blah, 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 blah. Where's my outline? Oh, there it is. ChangedStars outline. Very direct naming. My thoughts with regards to character generation is we have a ChangedGen guide first, followed by stat allocations very first in this, and I'm not sure that needs to be the case. I ran the gambit. A lot of people think stat generation or stat allocation should be first, but I think that's just because they're so dependent on
the D&D layout.
The D&D layout. Exactly. My original proposition was species first, followed by archetype, followed by stat allocation, which is kind of the way that Lee has it already. But I think considering
I have an archetype stat species, so you're talking about bringing species atop that pyramid.
That may be exactly what I'm saying, yes. Species, archetypes, and stats. And then while we're in the archetype, we deal with a la carte shit like skills and talents and stats, presumably.
Wait. Okay. So
species,
actually,
like,
archetype, and skill points.
I really don't know where stats fall. I really don't know where stats fall.
Okay, so here's where the weirdness of, because right now you have an archetype, and then you stat, and then you pick your species, and you spend skill points. In this system, both archetype and species give you are what give you your skill points to spend.
Mm-hmm.
Which means it would make sense to have stat allocation be the first thing, and then have archetype and species together. You could also do archetype and species together, and then stat allocation and skill points sort of together, where they're both around the same time.
Yeah,
just
I
keep
think
track
stat
of the fact
allocation
that
and skill points being together makes a lot of sense to me.
One of the complaints that non-Notepad users had was that keeping track of things for too long.
Okay, so stat allocation goes to the top?
Well, no, I just was providing options.
I don't know that stat allocation needs to be the top tier thing.
Mm-hmm. What I am saying is that stat allocation shouldn't be in the middle.
Intrinsically tied to stat allocation. I agree. It should be. Wait, sorry. It should or shouldn't be in the middle.
The issue is that skill points. You are going to be gaining skill points this entire time without knowing, like, how to allocate them. Which I think that we actually need to just change how that works.
Hear me out with this. If you don't want to, if we're not changing exactly how this works, what about putting stat allocation last before gear? So going species, archetype, skill points.
That's exactly the way that I originally proposed it being, James. Yes.
Really? So you're talking about having, like, to me, that really feels like a cart before the wagon situation to put skill points ahead of stat allocation. But I mean, I guess at this point we're just embracing my very bad design that I'm literally asking to remove of spreading around where you gain your skill points from. Because it has done nothing but confuse and confound people this entire time, and it's not really good design. And I think it makes way more sense to have it be, I choose my species, and then you choose some sort of but if we're going with this, then I guess stat allocation makes sense.
Yeah, so this is me basing it off of going with this character generation process.
Yeah, no, if we're going off of this character generation process, then stats need to be last.
Well, no, gear is always last. Any system that puts gear before anything else.
I don't even count gear.
Yeah, I don't either, because there are adventures where, like, you have no gear, or you have a set gear pool, or whatever.
But yeah. Because as Pat said, we haven't actually gone through this system or this character generation process when it's structured nicely and like sensical. And a lot of the confusion that at least Max had was moving back and forth and back and forth and back and forth throughout the document. And so
I don't think that this actually solves that, but we can like, even if I lay it out well, I don't think it will be solved. But I mean, I guess we'll do this. We'll lay this out.
And I mean, if it doesn't work out and if it doesn't solve any of the problems, then we can think about how to rejigger it so it does. But the reason why I don't want to do that is because rejiggering it so that only one thing is giving you one thing is going to be a lot of overhaul.
Hold on, wait. I think that this is actually how it was laid out, other than equipment seems to be ahead of some stuff. Wait, no, hold on. The way we just said to lay it out is literally how it's laid out. Except, no, it never tells you to allocate stats. Okay, so select species, select archetype. Free skills. Stat allocation. Okay, I just found it. All right, skill point cost raise. Wait, no. Stat allocation. Stat allocation. Stat allocution. Stat allocation. I don't know what to do with it. Stat allocation. What is a stat allocation? Stat allocation. All right. Stat allocation. Allocate 14 across your stats. Okay. Allocate 14 points across your stats with a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 4. Tag stats have a maximum of 5. Does anybody have any suggestions?
The other thing I would do is delete free skills and rename and just say allocate skill points, and then have a description of how you get what leads to all the skill points. Because again, the goal should be you have a brief overview of what's going on for people to check back on, you know, if they get lost, and then you should be able to just go pick some, flipping through the book. Theoretically, this is a book in my head. Flipping through the book, you should be able to go left to right, never having to go back as long as you keep all of the stuff in your mind. Just pick, and then skip ahead to the next section and pick, and skip ahead to the next section and read what it is, and then fill out or figure out your stat sheet. If that makes sense.
Stat allocations.
Because the issue that, at least how I was hearing people, what I was hearing people complain about was that it was confusing because it was only ever explained once briefly how to do X and what to do with Y and where it is to do this and that and this. Again, I am also incredibly biased and what did not have that trouble because my brain doesn't work right, so I could follow it pretty easily. But did anything I say then make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to write this shit. Competency, species, skill points, and then focus skill. Stat. Gain 3 skill points. 2. skill have 1 to 2 tax stats. Gain 5 extra. Okay, I now have an allocate skill points section that breaks down everywhere that you get your skill points from and how they are earned. And it also includes an explanation of the free skill points and your skill points costs and raises, and the fact that at character generation you may not begin with a skill value greater than 3 in any skill.
Okay.
Legendary.
I also have an archetype breakdown. Basically, I have a breakdown of how the archetypes work at the top of the archetype section. Rather than going straight into the archetypes, I think that makes sense for what we're doing here.
Okay.
I have no such breakdown at the top of select species, so I guess I should do that. Well, I guess I actually do. It's just not laid out the same way. Species. Oh. Life, like species. Such a species. Such a species. It's such a base stamina and movement. Turn. Should we move? Also should use competencies. Competency. I'm gonna need to fill in because, like, I think some of these talents for the species are literally placeholders. You begin play with 1 talent.
Okay, bye.
Money skill gate. of 2 and a maximum of 4. Skill limit at CareGen.
So I feel the need to note that all of the skills, or almost all the skills you have listed next to things people, or in the list of things people do in role-playing games, are incorrect.
Oh yeah, because that was things people doing.
Yeah, that was I know why it's incorrect. I'm just scrolling down because Google Docs is taking a hot minute to load.
Scrutiny.
And I saw that, and I was like, diplomacy isn't a skill. Comp science systems are 2 different things.
Pilot maneuver. Well, I mean, comp sci is under systems, but yeah, pilot maneuver, endurance, resolve. All right, yeah. No, I mean, we'll get rid of that section eventually, but yeah. All right. Point is, I now have the character generation document in a good order, but there is one last thing that needs to be moved, which is the edge break section and explanation, which needs to go after archetype. Silver tongue. Okay. Edge break at the 80.
Alright, well, I'm gonna head out.
Okay.
I will go through character creation tomorrow and give you feedback.
All right.
Enjoy yourselves. Good luck and whatever.
Custom archetype. To create your own archetype, simply be sure the following are true. Center. A.
Hey,
What?
what? I don't know.
All right, so Pat, we've finished. I finished redoing the character generation. If you want to go through it, but what I don't have is what the talents are or what the item descriptions are, and those are probably going to have to be in character generation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna check it out after I get back to my charging station in my room. I'm gonna have to clean these dishes first.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it early tonight.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right.
See you, fine folks.